Just months after the new State Theatre Centre opened its doors, another theatre is about to make its debut. An old cinema in Northbridge has been converted into the Metcalfe Playhouse, and it's hoped the venue will keep actors working in the West. The theatre already has some high-profile supporters. Here's Claire Nichols.
You said you wouldn't get married without a prenup agreement.
Fury said it would show a lack of faith in her integrity.
Fury? I thought her name was Sue Ellen.
The play's called When Dad Married Fury, which is one of my weirder titles, but it sums up what happens in the play. Alan is very rich indeed. He's quite old. He got his money through fairly dubious means, but his two sons aren't questioning that because he's had 2 heart attacks, he's 75, and they're counting on a big inheritance.
When I have the new will drawn up, you'll have nothing to worry about.
You haven't got a will yet?
Well, you're scared I'll die and she'll get everything?
He comes back from overseas with a new bride, a new American bride, half his age, who's a sort of cross between Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann, and shares their political views. This acts like a hand grenade to the family dynamics.
He's the man I've been waiting for all my life.
At a rehearsal space in Subiaco, these Perth actors are working to bring the words of Australian playwright David Williamson to life.
When I think you get down to it, just open it out just a little bit more. And
it's the first time a Williamson play will have its world premiere in Perth, thanks largely to the persuasive skills of director and designer John Senchuk.
I've worked with John on many occasions in my theatre career. I have great respect for him, and he said, look, I'm starting up a new theatre company in Perth. I just want to do something. And I said, oh, yeah.
He was very generous and said, well, look, I've got a play that I'm sure might be appropriate. And in fact, it was more than appropriate because the lead role in When Dad Married Fury, Dad, is a fantastic role for Edgar Metcalfe.
But I said to them, sit down and talk to him, and then tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. Oh, honey, am I embarrassing you?
John Senchuk first worked with David Williamson nearly 40 years ago. Now the pair are teaming up from opposite sides of the country to bring When Dad Married Fury to the stage.
So I go home at the end of every night and actually send off an email to David and saying, well, look, we've had this and we've had trouble with this. And then, you know, by the time I get up in the morning, David's written me the changes, so we come and actually put them through. So it's, even though he's not here, he's actually had a remarkable influence on the way in which the work's developed.
And the new play is being performed by a brand new company, marking the opening of a new theatre space in Perth.
So this is the theatre. It was, as you can imagine, looking at the height, it was an old IMAX cinema. You know, 280 fantastically comfortable cinema seats.
This old cinema in Northbridge is in the process of being converted into a working theatre. The building is owned by a hospitality training company which offered to lease the space to the director.
They rang me and said, look, we know you're looking for a theatre. We've got a 280-seat ex-IMAX cinema space in the heart of Northbridge in Lake Street.
He hopes the new venture will fill a gap in Perth's shrinking theatrical landscape.
In the inner city, in the CBD, with the closure of Rechabites Hall, Pika, the venue there being somewhat questioned as to whether it's going to continue. The nature of the Playhouse closing. We do need, and certainly this space fills a vacuum.
This space is just metres from the new State Theatre Centre, but it aims to be very different. While the State Theatre has won over the crowds, it's proved less popular with the wider theatrical community, who say they can't afford to access the space. It's hoped this venue could go some way to addressing that.
Here is at least an opportunity where I can give some opportunities for those actors who choose to live in one of the greatest cities in the world, an opportunity to ply their trade in their home city.
The aim is to make the space available to small companies and to audiences looking for something different.
Audiences need changes in diet. But, you know, they're producing a main course down there, and it's fantastic. But we're actually concentrating on local performers.
Any city to have a vibrant theatrical culture needs good venues, and it needs a critical mass of actors that get enough work in a major city to stay there and make that city thrive theatrically. And I think any additional theatre helps provide that work and helps the infrastructure or the acting infrastructure of Perth get beyond that critical mass.
The new venue also addresses another grievance of the Perth theatre crowd. While the decision to name the main performance space at the State Theatre Centre after Heath Ledger drew criticism, this venue has been named after the long-time Perth thespian Edgar Metcalfe.
For me, I'm a theatre person, and to me, when I was given this opportunity, and I just worked with Edgar Metcalfe on a wonderful play called Two Old Queens, which we toured the country with, I just felt as though when we look at our industry and its fragility, we can't neglect our elders. And Edgar has been part of the development of Perth theatre for over 4 decades.
I thought he was joking to begin with, of course, because it's a great compliment. It's lovely. But I'm particularly pleased that it's called the Metcalfe Playhouse, because, of course, the Playhouse is where I began my West Australian career in 1963, a long time ago.
Basically, half his money goes to the beauty queen, and Ben and I get a quarter each.
Half to her?
We still get 25 million-ish.
Well, you do as of now, but God knows how much he's going to spend before he dies.
Oh, shit.
Now John Senchuk is putting the final touches on a theatre piece and space that's just a week from opening. And despite the risk, he's hopeful this new stage debut will leave the audience wanting more.
Nobody's going to make a huge amount of money out of this. I'm certainly not going to be a millionaire. However, I won't be satisfied to actually give up on it until I've actually at least tried it out.
Claire Nichols there.